बरा था ना. हेलो. हेलो. लाइव होइते ऑडियो बरा था. ऑडियो बरा था. हां. हां बरा था. क्लियर है. हेलो. 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 माइक टेस्टिंग 1 2 3. हेलो. हेलो. हेलो.
Check, check, check.
ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಗುಡ್ ಮಾರ್ನಿಂಗ್. ಹಲೋ. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು 5 ನಿಮಿಷದಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಡೆಲಿಗೇಟ್ಸ್ ಕೂಡ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಒನ್ ಕೈಂಡ್ಲಿ ರಿಕ್ವೆಸ್ಟು, ಅವರೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಕೂಡ ಗೆಸ್ಟು ಡಯಾಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಸ್ಟೇಜ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಬಂದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಯಾರೂ ಕೂಡ ಹೋಗೋದು ಬರೋದು ಮಾಡಬಾರ್ದು ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಒಂದು ಕಮಿಟಿ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ಹಂಬಲ್ ರಿಕ್ವೆಸ್ಟು. ಶಾಂತ ರೀತಿಯಿಂದ ಇರಬೇಕು. ಡೆಲಿಗೇಟ್ಸ್ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅವರನ್ನು ಜೋರಾದ ಚಪ್ಪಾಳೆಯೊಂದಿಗೆ ಈ ಒಂದು ವೇದಿಕೆಗೆ ಸ್ವಾಗತಿಸಿಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು. ಶಾಂತ ರೀತಿಯಿಂದ ಇರಬೇಕು.
Check. Hello. Good morning, one and all. We, the people of India, these four words are not just the beginning of our constitution, but the foundation of our democracy, representing the ultimate sovereignty that lies within all us. With this, I invite Vaibhav Kulkarni, Student School of Applied Sciences, BLDE deemed university, to come for invocation song.
गणनायकाय गणदैवताय गणाध्यक्षाय धीमहि गुणशरीराय गुणमण्डिताय गुणेशानाय धीमहि गुणातीताय गुणाधीशाय गुणप्रवेष्टाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय बालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि गानचतुराय गानप्राणाय गानान्तरात्मने गानोत्सुकाय गानमत्ताय गानोत्सुकमनसे गुरुपूजिताय गुरुदैवताय गुरुकुलस्थायिने गुरुविक्रमाय गुह्यप्रवराय गुरवे गुणगुरवे गुरुदैत्यकलक्षेत्रे गुरुधर्मसदाराध्याय गुरुपुत्रपरित्रात्रे गुरुपाखण्डखण्डकाय गीतसाराय गीततत्त्वाय गीतगोत्राय धीमहि गूढगुल्फाय गन्धमत्ताय गोजयप्रदाय धीमहि गुणातीताय गुणाधीशाय गुणप्रवेष्टाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय बालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि
Now I request Ms. Pallavi, lecturer, School of Law, BLDE deemed university, for the welcome address.
Respected Honorable Justice E.S. Indresh Sir, Honorable Pro Chancellor Dr. Y.M. Jairaj Sir, Honorable Vice Chancellor Dr. Arun C. Inamdar Sir, esteemed Trustee of Vijnaneshwara Pratisthana Trust, Professor Dr. Raghuveer G. Kulkarni Sir, distinguished faculty members, dear students and honored guests, a very good morning to one and all. At BLDE, deemed to be University School of Law, we believe that legal education is not confined to statutes and precedents. It must cultivate character, responsibility, and commitment to constitutional morality. Today's lecture is a step towards nurturing informed, ethical, and duty conscious citizens. It is my proud privilege and great honor to welcome you all to this special lecture on the theme Bharatiya Ethics, Values and Duties for Citizens in our Constitutional Democracy. We are deeply honored to have Honorable Justice Sri E.S. Indiresh Sir, Judge of the High Court of Karnataka, Bengaluru. Honorable Justice E.S. Indresha Sir was born on 16th April 1972, had early education at Pandavapura town, secured BSc degree from Ivaraja's College, Mysore, obtained degree in law from Sharada Vilasa School, Mysore, and LLM from University of Mysore, secured first rank in Constitutional Law branch. Sir appointed as additional judge of Karnataka High Court on 7th February 2020 and permanent judge on 25th September 2021. His Lordship's distinguished judicial service and profound understanding of constitutional principles make him uniquely suited to guide us on this vital subject. Sir, your gracious presence today greatly enriches this academic gathering. On behalf of BLDE deemed to be University School of Law, I heartily welcome you, sir. With this, I request Dr. Arun C. Inamdar, sir, to honor the chief guest, and also I request all the dignitaries to join. Thank you, sir. I heartily welcome Honorable Pro-Chancellor Professor Dr. Y.M. Jairaj, sir, a visionary leader, an eminent academician, and a guiding force in higher education. Welcome, sir. I request Dr. G.S. Kadkol, sir, to present bouquet as a token of respect. Thank you, sir. I extend my respectful welcome to our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. Arun C. Inamdar, sir, whose visionary leadership continuously strengthens the academic and ethical foundations of our university. I request Professor Dr. Raghuveer G. Kulkarni, sir, Dean and Principal of School of Law, to present a bouquet as a token of respect. Thank you, sir. I welcome Honorable Shri Harisha A. Sir, Principal District and Session Judge Vijayapura. I request Abhishek Badigir, LLB semester students to present a bouquet. Thank you, sir. Our sincere appreciation to Vidyaneshwara Pratishtana Trust, Martur, for associating with us in organizing this meaningful academic engagement. Now, I welcome our Dean and Principal, Professor Dr. Raghuveer G. Kulkarni, sir, and I request Sheshatri K. sir to present a bouquet. Thank you, sir. And I also welcome all judicial officers of Vijayapur district, and I welcome DLSA panel advocates for the function and all the faculty members of different departments and students who have gathered here to get benefit from the wisdom and insights that it will be shared today. Thank you, one and all.
Now I will request all the dignitaries on the dais to join for lamp lighting. request our chief guest, Honorable Justice Shri E.S. Indresh, Sir, Judge High Court of Karnataka, Bangalore.
Yes. ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನನ್ನ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. ಶ್ರೀ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ವೈ.ಎಂ. ಜಯರಾಜ್, Pro Chancellor, Dr. Arun C. Inamdar, Chancellor, Vice Chancellor, and my dearest brother, Shri Harish, Principal District and Session Judge, Professor Dr. R.J. Kulkarni, the Principal of the School of Law, my brother judges from the Vijayapura district, learned counsel, learned advocates, learned members of the members of this institution, students, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, when I was invited by Shri R.J. Kulkarni sir, always I feel that I am a student of law to address the students always. And that too, if you look at the topic in which it was given to me, the Bharatiya ethics, values, and duties for citizens in our constitutional democracy. Dear friends, when the function was begin, the first word the anchoring, the sister said, "We the people of India." We the people of India means people are back of the constitution. People are at the back of the constitution. When our constitutional assembly was drafted, first thing that if we say anything about the constitution, always we must remember the one person who is behind the drafting of the constitution is Shri Sir Benegal Narsinga Rao. He is the constituent, he is the legal advisor to the Constituent Assembly. He traveled across US, has seen how the Bill of Rights have been addressed to the subjects. And also he has seen, he visited the UK, how the parliamentary system of government is prevailing in the UK. He had been to France. He has seen how the emergency powers have been properly administered there. And also visited Irish because we borrowed the directive principles of state policy from Irish constitution. And also he visited the Australia, how the distribution of powers between the center and the state has been made. He had visited Canada to see how the trade and commerce, the policy decision of the government is being done, how we have to incorporate the same in the Indian constitution and such. Insofar as the constitutional aspects pertaining to the Bharatiya ethics is concerned. Dear friends, our constitution is not by overnight drafted. We have seen 1857. From if you look at from the East India Company, they arrived in 1600. We have seen a plethora of legislation. And the one important aspect under the Indian Constitution is 1772, Regulating Act came into force. 1973, the Supreme Court at the Calcutta was established, and thereafter pass on to the 1857 mutiny, and 1909, the Minto Marley, 1919, Montego Chelmsford, then 1930, where the first Lahore session under the leadership of the Motilal Nehru ji say that we need to have a country for ourselves. And also thereafter 1935 Act, all of us very well, where the diarchy system was introduced. Then the Cripps mission came into force because the British people want our help for the Second World War. Quit India movement was started. Ultimately, the Constituent Assembly was constituted to draft the constitution for ourselves. If you look at the constitutional provisions, dear friends, it is not that, as I pointed out to you, though we have borrowed the many the chapters or the provisions from the various the constitutions, while drafting our constitution, always we should be very grateful to our founding fathers, because this constitution, I think, enacted long back 75 years ago. Today we are living. Then it was 33 crores. Today we are 143 crores. Today we are bound by the constitutional provisions. Whatever the problems that will be evolved, any number of crises in the constitution, so far as the organization of the government, or insofar as the aspects pertaining to the policy matters to be taken by the government, for all those things, we find a solution in the constitution itself. Because that was where a lot of deliberations have been made in the Constituent Assembly, starting from Alladi Krishna Swamy, where we cannot, without we cannot without mentioning his name, we cannot say anything. And Baba Ambedkar ji, the chairman of the drafting committee, and many stalwarts were there insofar as the drafting of the Indian Constitution is concerned. They have seen the thread aspect related to the entire constitution which was prevailing then. Then they say, what type of the constitution we must adopt for our cultural Indian culture is concerned. Because we have a diversity in language, many languages, many caste, many religion, and the geographical condition is altogether is different from north to south, east to west. If such be the case, what type of the constitution we must have? How we have to adopt such a constitution for us? See, deliberated, entire thing was deliberated in the constitution assembly. Then they adopted this constitution on 26th November. All of us know the day on which we, 1947, 26th November, we celebrate it as a law day. However, I think we celebrate the Republic on 26th January only for the reason that 26th January 1930, the first the Lahore session where the Swaraj, the concept of Swaraj was discussed in the Congress in the Lahore session. That's why we celebrate it on 26th January. If you look at the provisions under the Indian Constitution, dear friends, particularly insofar as the preamble to the Indian Constitution is concerned, all of us know preamble is a touchstone to the Indian Constitution. It is a footnote to the Indian Constitution. If you understand the preamble to the Indian Constitution, see, starting from we the people of India. So most of us, probably in this hall, were not born on 1950. But even otherwise, the Constitution is binding on us because we the people of India. We the people of India, where the provisions contained therein shall always it is made applicable for us. We are bound by the constitutional values, ethos under the Indian Constitution. What are the provisions which have been made for the organization of the government, for functioning of each government, and how the judiciary has to act in accordance with the constitutional provisions. These are all the things we are bound by that. Because though many aspects, see, ours is a limited government. Ours is a limited government. Limited government means all the wings of the government, whether it's a legislature, they have to legislate in accordance with the constitutional provisions. Otherwise, it will be struck down under Article 13 of the Constitution as void. The executive has to implement the law by looking into the, the object of the act, and the provisions has to be confirmed. And otherwise, what will happen? All the executive actions will be challenged before the constitutional court. Then it will be struck down by the Supreme Court under Article 32 or by the High Court under 226 of the Constitution of India. Next, insofar judiciary is concerned, we are also bound by the Indian Constitution because whatever our judgments must always conform to the constitutionalism. It is not constitution, constitutionalism. Constitutionalism means the values behind the constitution. Whenever any decision that has to be rendered by the High Court or the Supreme Court on the aspects relating to being a guardian of the fundamental rights, always we will look into the pith and substance of the act, the object of the particular act. Then what type of the judgments has to be rendered, we should be within the purview of the constitutional provisions. We have, if all our judgments should be conformed within the parameters of the constitutional aspects. Then the question is, what is there in the Constitution? See, take for an example, few provisions of the Indian Constitution, Article 14 of the Indian Constitution. You say that is begin with the word no person shall deny equality before law and equal protection of law. Though it's begin from the negative terminology, ultimately it say that equality means equal protection of law means where the constitution will treat everyone equally. Unequals should be equals should be treated equally, unequals should be treated unequally. That means what is say that even insofar as the constitutional provisions, it imbibes the aspects relating to our dharma. What is meant by dharma? See, dharma emerges as the universal moral compass, where he speaks about the responsibility of citizens. That's what the dharma says. Abide by your rules and regulations. Protect other person's individual liberty. Respect other person. Respect your country, your parents. Then that's what the dharma says. If you look at the aspects related, because the dharma possesses the values that time and place is concerned. Whenever the aspects relating to the dharma will come, that's what we have seen in Article 14. You say that before condemning any person, before passing any order against any person, or before taking any action against any person, hear him first. Hear him first, provide fair hearing to him, and thereafter take decision. Don't be under the impression that you have to decide the matter unilaterally without hearing the other side. Doctrine of adi alteram partem. That's what we see. And also we have seen in the law, nemo judex causa sua. And that is, no person shall be vexed for the twice for the same offense. That is what we have seen in double jeopardy. And also we have seen that insofar as the tax matters and the penal provisions are concerned, those provisions should be always prospective in nature. That should not be retrospective. And these are all the aspects, if you look at, the dharma means nothing but natural law theory. Again, we go back to the original civilization where the says that here the other side, extend the principles of natural justice to someone else. Then you can take decision in the matter. Even take for an example, when Shishupala and Dantavakra wage a war against the Krishna and Balrama, so he has provided 100 times because let they will commit sin. Then I will take action against them. Even otherwise, take for an example, the Rajadharma, where we have believed from ancient times, is say that before taking action against any person, or if you penalize any person, provide an opportunity of for you. What type of opportunity? Opportunity should not be a post-decisional hearing, or opportunity should not be say that it is a pre-consumed mind. Sometimes what will happen? We want to decide the matter. Yes, the plaintiff or the petitioner is having a case. Then just we will look into the pleadings on the pleadings which is before us. Then we will decide the matter. That cannot be considered to be a good decision on the matter is concerned. Where you say that here the other side, then take decision in the matter, because always we have to hear the both the sides, extend fair hearing, then take decision is concerned. Why I'm saying all these things? Dharma, where in so far as the in Indian aspect is concerned, we never believe king can do no wrong. We never believed. Even the king is also under law. Even king is under dharma. Dharma is supreme, not the king. Constitution is supreme, not the supreme, not the parliament. That's what the Honorable Supreme Court said in Keshavananda Bharati case. He say that always dharma will prevail. Dharma means don't be under the impression. Dharma means don't fill in your mind with a literal interpretation. Don't, because dharma means dharma will be there in Jainism, dharma is there in Buddhism, dharma is in Hinduism, dharma in Muslim community, dharma is there in Christian, dharma is in Persian. Every the dharma I call nothing but a grand norm. Grand norm. Grand norm means everything the our all our actions should be owed to the dharma only always. If you do good for others, definitely you will receive good thing from others. This is what we believed insofar as the ethical aspects under the Indian Constitution is concerned. Many things, dear friends, because as I pointed out to you, the law or a dharma is a king of kings. It's a king of kings. If you, the moment if I leave dharma, I cannot survive. If I leave dharma or if I go beyond the dharma, then the state action will be there against me. This is what we can see in the Bill of Rights in US, or insofar as the Indian Constitution, the fundamental rights is concerned. Ultimately, if you look at the Article 21 of the Indian Constitution, after Maneka Gandhi 78 Supreme Court, he say that laws should be just, fair, and reasonable. This is what the three concepts in said in Maneka Gandhi case. Because law must always fair. Fair means that should be adopt for every situation. Then it should be just. What is my justness? Justness is a very wide term. Dear friends, if a dharma is concerned or justness is concerned, it is very difficult to define. I cannot define, but I can explain. I can explain what is dharma, but I cannot define. The moment if I define, it is nothing but a literal interpretation. It is nothing but just like a coined one. That we cannot do it. That's what the Supreme Court said in E.P. Rayappa's case through Honorable Justice Bhagavati. Say that right to equality, what is there in the Indian Constitution, you cannot crib, you cannot coin, you cannot circumscribe. The moment if you say, take for an example, equality, because why I'm saying all these things, equality, what is there yesterday, may not be equality for today. It may not be equality for tomorrow also. Because take for an example, if you look at the amendment to the Section 6 of the Hindu Succession Act, where now the daughter is also on par with the son as a co-partners. They are also entitled for the share. Earlier it was not there. But today we are providing the equal share as the daughter will also consider to be on par with the son as a co-partner in the family. This is what we can say. Can we say that equality was not there in 1956 when the Hindu Succession Act was enacted? No, it was there. But the societal changes was like that. What is considered to be as equality today may not become equality for tomorrow. Reason is quite obvious. Societal changes has to be there. We have to go, we have to interpret the law in such a way that because that's why we call it as Indian Constitution. It's not a pedantic document. It's a living document. And while interpreting the Indian Constitution, look at the object for which it has been enacted. That's why I said, we the people of India, given this Constitution for ourselves. We are not given to anyone else. Because if you look at the only provision we under Article 368 say that if you want to make amendment to the Indian Constitution, you can do this. Why the amending provision is there? Amending provision has been made in the Indian Constitution only to facilitate certain things which is foresee in the future, because Constitution has to survive for centuries. Because by the time our Indian Constitution was made, we have seen five revolutions in French. We can see the USSR earlier, now it has been disintegrated. You look at, even take for an example, all our neighboring countries of India, they are not happy with their constitutional machinery is concerned, except we are happy in India with this document. That's why always we owe to our founding fathers, dear friends. Our founding fathers, though we may say that maybe we are technologically we are today advanced, maybe to some extent what they thought of in 1950 may not be think what I have now or in my future. But one thing is true, our great founding fathers know what is required for the country. That's what the Constitution that has been given to us. Even otherwise, take for an example, if you look at Article 14, 19, and the 21 of the Indian Constitution. The Supreme Court in the Maneka Gandhi case said, any legislation is challenged before a court as to the validity is concerned. Kindly look at those legislation within the triangular object of 14, 19, and 21 of the Indian Constitution. Right to life and liberty, which was there in the Indian earlier, after in A.K. Gopalan case, say that law means it should be within the purview of law. But after Keshavananda Bharati case, after now the plethora of positive rights have been incorporated in 21, saying that, see, right to environment, we didn't know. We never felt in the 1950 that right to environment is a fundamental right. Of course, all of us, I think those who are above 40 years, we had drank in the water in the well itself. Today we have this drinking. We never believe. Because what was there earlier, drinking, what we had, water, was good then. Today, because of ground water scarcity, because of minerals, lack of minerals, now it is very difficult. That is what Article 14 say that. Therefore, this constitution, if you look at, dear friends, if any legislation is challenged, it has to be looked in the touchstone of 14, 21, and 19 of the Indian Constitution. Even so far as the Vedic period is concerned, we know Smriti, what we hear, what we heard, Shruti, and we have seen also the many legislation prior to prior to that pre-constitutional legislation. Many legislation was there. Even you cannot believe, we also have a Docs Act of 1935 then. Today we never think that there is no the legislation. Dogs Act was there in 1935 also. Today the Honorable Supreme Court is saying about about the protection of the children, where insofar as the dogs are concerned, legislation was there earlier. See, that's why we have to see, dear friends, one thing is clear. We have been provided with all essentials what is required for the good governance of the country by our founding fathers or our elderly people in the earlier period. Even in the Vedic period, life and law governed by foundation of Dharma. This is what we have to see. See, life and the aspects relating to the law is concerned. Many times, even the always, as I pointed out in earlier, the dharma will prevail. If you want to protect something, someone else, you have, because that's why there's a difference between law and justice. Just I've given one illustration for you. That's why we have, I think all of us have read insofar as in Panchatantra Kategalalli. A sage was doing tapas in front of his the house in the forest. A lady has been chased by some miscreants to commit rape on her. Then she came near the sage, that is the tapasvi. Sir, someone is chasing me. Please protect me. Can I go inside your house? He said, yes, please go there. And that sage, he never said any untruth in his life. ಅವ್ರು ಯಾವತ್ತೂ ಕೂಡ ಅಸತ್ಯವನ್ನೇ ಹೇಳಿಲ್ಲ, ಅಂಥ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಋಷಿಗಳವರು. Then those miscreants came. They asked me, ಗುರುಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಒಬ್ಬರು ಲೇಡಿ ಬಂದರು, ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋದರು? ಸತ್ಯವಂತ, ಸುಳ್ಳು ಹೇಳಬಾರ್ದು. She is, go inside, she is there only. Can you say that it's a justice? That's a line thinking between law and justice. Sometimes, dear friends, why I'm saying all these things, even yesterday also I pointed out, even in the function, if the mother is having two children, one is 15 years old, another is 2 years old, and she is having only one chocolate. Normally, she is to give it to that 2 years old, not to the 15 years old son. Can you say that it is a discrimination? Because for a mother, both are children. It is her duty to look after both of them. See to that dharma should prevail. But she will give chocolate only to the 2 years old child. Don't think that it is a discrimination. That is what we have seen, the protective discrimination in our Article 15 and 16 of the Indian Constitution. See, these are why I am saying all these things. Whatever the provisions are there in the Indian Constitution, it leads to dharma and dharma alone. That is why we say, dharmo rakshati rakshata. If I believe in dharma, dharma will protect us. Then he say that even if you look at the Indian, constitutional framework, satyameva jayate. See, these are all the two concepts where the entire constitution, satyameva jayate and dharma rakshita, this is the foundation for us. If our foundation is good, definitely this constitution will prevail for centuries. With this, even take for an example, the word dharma, it is a Sanskrit word. Dhruv means support. It is a foundation to all. And if you look at the constitutional aspect is concerned, if you closely look at it in many provisions under the Act, though I pointed out too, there is a little difference between law and justice. And also I have stated that the dharma possesses the values. However, the provision in the Indian Constitution is concerned, some of the aspect is concerned, where morality is prevailing in the Indian Constitution is concerned. We have used the word morality only in 4 words in the Indian Constitution. One is Article 19, Clause 2, curbing the speech and expression is 19(1)(a). Reasonable restriction may be imposed under 19 Clause 2, where for the purpose of moral values, speech and deed. Secondly, 19(1)(d), we can see the word then. Again, we see the very same word moral, the expression in Article 20 and 25 and 26 of the Constitution. That is, right to religion is concerned. Why I am saying all these things? Though the word, the expression moral as is there in the Indian Constitution, 19(1)(2), 19(1)(d), 25 and 26, but there is no expression in the Indian Constitution, constitutional morality. But can we say that constitutional morality is not there in the Indian Constitution? We cannot say, because there are many concepts are there. Take for an example, in Ramesh Thapar case in 1950. So one thing, dear friends, always I remember, I will tell the law students, always read the judgments of the Honorable Supreme Court from 1950 to 60. We have a great judges of the Honorable Supreme Court, starting from Kanyaji, Venkatramaiah, Patanjali Shastri, B.K. Mukherjee, one of the greatest judge. I think recently, Honorable Justice Rohinton Nariman says, he said that top great judges of the world are 3. One is Ambassador of the US. Second one is Justice Marshall. All of you know very well the Marbury versus Madison case, where for the first time the doctrine of judiciary was expounded by the US Federal Supreme Court, and Honorable Justice Rohinton said that on par with the Justice Marshall, we have also one more judge from the Supreme Court, is B.K. Mukherjee, one of the greatest judges what we have seen during 1950 to 60. But one thing I believe, dear friends, but for them, 7 judges of the Supreme Court, today our democracy is survived, even today in India. Because reason is the way in which they interpreted the Indian Constitution. See, freedom of press was not there. In Ramesh Thapar case, they said freedom of press is also one of the freedoms has to be given. It is a 4th state of the democracy, because unless there is the full freedom to the press, because in the democracy, cries should be there. If the child cries, then only the mother will feed. If there is a press, then we should be very cautious. We are the governors, ministers, and the legislators, judicial people. All of us will be scared about the press, because only within the framework of the law we have to work. Our work should not go beyond the constitutional values. There must be a word relating to the constitutionalism. We have to give values, and we must see to that those values in which the Indian Constitution considered to be, those values are nothing but the pillars. Democracy. Democracy means, all of you know, demo plus gratia, rule by many. Rule by many. See, if the democracy survives, our rulers or our governance where should be always good. Even this secularism aspect, though it is not there in Indian Constitution 1950, but though it was incorporated through the amendment, can you say that there was no secularism in 1950? It was there. Even republicanism is there. It was also there. See, nowadays, any person can become the president of India, executive head of the state, constitutional head. It is there in the Indian Constitution itself. Therefore, these are all the aspects where republicanism, judiciary, judicial review, independence of judiciary, because independence of judiciary is also very important. Because if we are controlled by the executive or the legislature, then we cannot decide the matter or interpret the law in accordance with the constitutional framework. Therefore, there must be independence of judiciary. Because reason is, the Supreme Court or the High Court considered to be as a guardian of the fundamental rights. If there is no judiciary, then how the democracy will prevail? How the democratic principles have to be looked upon by the executive or the legislature. Therefore, it say that where the constitutional aspects is related, there are certain pillars where our constitution stands. Otherwise, what will happen? See, we are in a federalism. Federalism means, all of you know very well, two types of the government. One is the general government or the union government, and the insofar as the regional government, or what we call it as a state. Our powers have been already stated in Article 245 and 246 of the Indian Constitution. We know very well, list 1, list 2, list 3, in the 7th schedule, mentioned where the state has to enact law, when the union government has to enact law. Though our constitution is more the centrally it is strong, because for the reason, because of the federalistic view is there in the Indian Constitution. Today, all the states are within the powers of the India. That's why, if you look at Article 1 of the Indian Constitution, though the word Bharat is used, but in all purpose we in the very same say that Union of India. Union of India means, after the state reorganization in 1956, under the leadership of Vijayapura Patil, even now, take for an example, no state will cede from other country. Otherwise, what will happen? Even state of Karnataka, we say that we want to come out from the Union of India. Even Tamil Nadu will say, some other state will say. That is not possible. Reason is quite obvious. The federalists, the futures are the basic structure to the Indian Constitution. That's what the Supreme Court said in Keshavananda Bharati case. When the question before the Honorable Supreme Court in Keshavananda was very say that what is the power of the Parliament to amend the Constitution? Supreme Court say that you can amend entire Constitution of India, but don't touch the basic feature. Just like the mother is having 10 chocolates and she wanted to give to the child everything, saying that please eat only one. I will give you 10, eat only one chocolate. That means it limits the power. The basic feature Constitution, where all the 13 judges of the Supreme Court say that you can amend the entire Constitution. You have a power. But don't touch the basic feature of the Constitution, because those are the basic features in which the fabric of the Indian Constitution stands. If you touch the basic structure, either of the one, then the entire equilibrium of the democracy will collapse. That's why, dear friends, today we have survived, but for the judgment of the Supreme Court in Keshavananda Bharati, where it limits the power of the Parliament. Take for an example, just think over in another way. If the entire one party will get a majority, or more than, take for an example, 500 MPs, they can change the Constitution itself. That is not possible under Article 368, because they cannot touch the basic features of the Indian Constitution. Basic structure is there. Of course, in the Indian Constitution, nowhere it is defined, but there are the number of judgments in which the Supreme Court evolved and identifies what are the foundation for which this Indian democracy has to prevail, survive, and all these things is concerned. This is one aspect, just I will say. Next, insofar as the Article 25 and 26 is concerned, insofar as the ethical view is concerned. We have now, the state has no particular religion. We have a secular country. And we believe in Sarva Dharma Sambhava. We respect all the religion equally. And secondly, we respect all the religion, and also liberty is given for everything. Under this, what is the role of the citizen? What is our ethical part? Because this country is given everything for us. See, we are standing and sitting here, and all of us are respiring only because of this air. We know very well, this country is given air for me, drinking water, food for almost 142 crores. So we cannot imagine. At least nobody in India could say, I don't have meals for two. At least all of us have at least 2 meals in a day. If you look at the resource of this country, it is given everything for us. Then what is our role towards the country is concerned? In this regard, the aspects relating to the Article 51A of the Indian Constitution is concerned. Dear friends, it provides for fundamental duties. What is my duty? Because this country has given everything for us. Even I give it back. As I told you, free air I'm getting. Free air I'm getting. I think if you want to value the air, if a person is put it in ventilator, when the bill will come to us, then we know what is the value of the air. I think doctor would say much more about it. Ventilator. That's why I'm saying, Sam, we are all getting free air. Then same thing that we have to see to that. What is my duty towards the country? Firstly, I should abide by the constitutional aspects. I should give more emphasis on rule of law principles. If there is no rule of law principles, we cannot survive. Everything should be in accordance with law only. All our actions should be owed to the constitutional aspects. We cannot deviate from the constitutionalism. Secondly, we must respect the value of other person. If I do not respect other person, how can I expect respect from him? If I respect other person, take for an example, respect from other people means I have to give value for the liberty of other person. It is a concept of liberty. Liberty is the where, even take for an example, Nusanara cartoon or Sunil Batra or D.K. Basu or in Super Nilabati Beram, a number of judgments I think you will see how the Supreme Court has evolved the concepts as to the protecting the rights of the prisoners in the prisoners. If such being the case, if you liberty, you cannot the invade the liberty of any other person. Liberty of anyone, right to see, right to have a good environment. You must see this plethora of judgment by in, MC Keta's case, MC Mehta case. Even in child rights, we take for an example, there's also MC Mehta case where the employment of the children in the carpet industry, it was there in Calcutta, it was closed because the children's hand is very small. If they will do the carpet work now, you will get a very fine carpets. That was stopped by the Honorable Supreme Court through the MC Mehta, one of the great senior advocate of the Supreme Court. Is see why I'm saying all these things. Many of the positive rights have been evolved through the libertarian concept under Article 21 of the Constitution. Therefore, respect the others. Respect the values of others people also. Then the next question is, you must cherish and to follow the noble ideals of the Constitution. See, whatever may be the dear friends, the case will come up before the Honorable Supreme Court. Irrespective of the technology, irrespective of whatever may be the thing, for each and everything, we have solution in the Constitution itself. Constitution itself. Do you think what is meant by Wi-Fi? Take for an example Wi-Fi. Every time wherever we'll go, we used to get the Wi-Fi and everything. Wi-Fi, it is there, all there in the Indian the culture itself. Take for an example, if you remember, if the mother is cooking something in the house, if the small child is in the hall or room or something, sometimes the mother say, "Ellidiya neno antare." That is nothing but a Wi-Fi to the child. That connects because the child, moment she hear the voice of the mother, child say that I am protected within the arms of mother. That is called as Wi-Fi. See, every problem you can find the solution in the Indian Constitution itself, irrespective of the questions, whatever may be the thing. But because take for an example, the public opinion is not important. Constitutional values are important. This is what the Supreme Court said in Sabarimala case. We are aware that the age group of the women, those who are menstruating, they cannot enter the temple of Ayyappa. It is our culture, it has come. It is true. It is a public opinion. Everyone, because I am a true religion person, I believe that. But Constitution does not believe. Constitution never discriminate men and women. That's what, even if the public opinion may be anything, but while interpreting the Constitution, by respecting the Constitution, I should give emphasis on the provisions of the Constitution alone, not the public opinion. If such being the case, dear friends, there is no referendum in India. If at all, if the referendum was there in India, like Switzerland, in Switzerland we have the referendum. Take for an example, all the 4, 5 states of South India, one day put a slogan, we want to segregate from North India. It would have been happen. But there is no referendum in Indian Constitution. Thank God. Because of the Constitution only. This thing, why I'm saying all these things, whenever any constitutional provision is there, we have to interpret the same within the touchstone of the Indian Constitution alone. Therefore, the noble ideals in the Indian Constitution have to be looked into while interpreting the Constitution, because it is the intention. If you look at the provision in Article 51A of the Indian Constitution, which provides for fundamental duties, it reflects the intention of our drafters. It reflects. Maybe they have not thought of, but it reflects. If you look at the different political arena today, maybe if our founding fathers were there, sometimes they feel unhappy that they were born in India also. So sometimes it will happen also. The reason is quite obvious. The responsible government should be there. That's why, as I told you in earlier, difference when our constitution was adopted before the Constituent Assembly, lot of deliberations are made. All of us know that. The last speech was delivered by Ambedkar ji. Then he went out of the Parliament Bhavan. A student from Cochin University was standing alone, and he put a question to the Ambedkar ji. Sir, you have given a very good constitution for us. Already 5 constitutions in US, in France. See, in UK there is no written constitution. Now you have given a written constitution for us. How far this constitution will survive? Ambedkar ji say that. Even this constitution is also not good if the people are bad. The reason is, even if a bad constitution will survive, if good people are there. Who are the good people? Those who are governing the country. If they are good, even a bad constitution will survive. Even a good constitution will not survive if we are governed by wrong people. Therefore, he say that it is not the constitution, the mindset of the people has to be looked into. What type of mindset we need to have? We must, all of us have patriotism in our mind. If we do not have Desha Prema, ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವಾಗ ದೇಶ ಪ್ರೇಮ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, that is the end of my identity in this country. Not of the others, my identity. ಎಲ್ಲಿ ದೇಶ ಪ್ರೇಮ ಇರಬೇಕು. Because for certain things, there is no corresponding word in English. Dharma, there is no corresponding word in English. Word sin, papa punya antivi. Sin ge opposite word ellide. It's very difficult to get in English. Likewise, even in so far as the constitutional aspect is concerned, even the country has to be governed by the great people. As long as we are being governed by the people who are believed in our constitutional ethos, constitutionalism, providing whatever may be thing to the country within the parameters of the constitution, to that extent, definitely we will be survive. That is why the Indian constitution has survived for 75 years. So long, because the founding fathers, they are not ordinary people, what we think. Maybe we are technologically, we may be advanced from them, but one thing is true. The foundation made by them, even today, it survived for even for number of stories that we can build. The foundation is like that. The values embedded in the Indian Constitution at the time of the drafting of the Indian Constitution. Please, I request all the law students, please read the Constitution framework B. Shivarao, the how the deliberations have been made in the Indian Constitution. Many things can't imagine aspects relating because there must be a change in society, change in societal thing. But one thing is there, the essential qualities always would be good. Essentiality means these are the principles: republicanism, equality, the secularism, the socialist pattern of society, unity and integrity of India. These are all the things essential. We may have different aspects, but everything woe to the grand norm. That is what the pure theory of law. I think probably you must have read it in jurisprudence. Kelsey's pure theory of law, grand norm. All the organs of the government owes their functions from to the grand norm alone. Distinct, dear friends, just I will, because of positive time. So these are all the ethical values under which the Indian Constitution is believed, and it is a duty of every one of us to protect the country. And Rajadharma say that respect the right of the another person, and also say that the democracy shall thrive only if the institutions governing the country shall work within the parameters of the Constitution. Otherwise, very difficult. And apart from all these things, the aspects relating to the implied, the duties, what is stated in the Article 51A of the Indian Constitution, which provides for fundamental duties, where it says about what I have to do for this country. Maybe many things have been stated as to the aspects relating to the governance of the country is concerned. Even otherwise also, I have my own duties toward this country. If I do not do that, who else can do that? ನಾವೇ ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಶ ಮಾಡಿದೇವಲ್ಲ, ಇನ್ಯಾರು ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ? It is my duty. And this is what they even say that we should be very grateful to our founding fathers. They have given a very great document. It is also on par with Mahabharata, Ramayana, and Bhagavad Gita. Constitution is also like that for me, because these are all the aspects where epics, whatever, irrespective of the thing, we have to give emphasis on the constitutionalism always. The thing is, lastly, I would say, as the Abdul Kalam ji say that we need not do great things to this country. I need not become a Prime Minister of India, want to do great thing, or a President of India, or a Union Minister, or a State Chief Minister, or a Chief Justice of India, or a Supreme Court Judge. I need not become. Just if I want to do a very small thing to this country, that itself is sufficient. ಏನಿಲ್ಲ, ದಾರಿಲಿ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಮುಳ್ಳಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಆ ಮುಳ್ಳನ್ನ ತೆಗೆದು ಪಕ್ಕಕ್ಕೆ ಇಟ್ಟರೆ ಸಾಕು. ದಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಗ್ರೇಟ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ದಟ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಡೂ ಟು ದಿ ಕಂಟ್ರಿ. ವಿ ನೀಡ್ ನಾಟ್ ಡೂ ಗ್ರೇಟ್, because if we know our own responsibility towards the country, that itself show that how the constitutional values that we are safeguarding, protecting, and we are respecting our values is concerned. Thank you one and all, dear friends, for providing me an opportunity to share my few thoughts about the constitutional values. Though, as in the initial stage, Sister ji started with we the people of India, we are all one among the we the people of India. Unity and integrity, unity and integrity of the country is most important. Protect the country first. If you want to protect country, follow the Raja Dharma, and Dharma alone will prevail. Dharma rakshati rakshata. Namaskar.
Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable words. It not just impacted our academic life, but our day-to-day life. Now I will request our guest of honor, Honorable Pro-Chancellor Professor Dr. Y.M. Jairaj sir, to address the gathering.
Honorable Justice Shri E.S. Indiresh sir, my colleague and president of this function, Dr. Arun C. Inamdar sir, Honorable Judge Harish sir, legal luminaries, invitees, my dear students and friends. At the outset, I am extremely happy today that we are able to hear a new dimension to a topic that can be interpreted in any way. When I was looking at the topic that was given to sir, Bharatiya ethics, values, duties for citizens in our constitutional democracy, I was thinking whether his lecture would be philosophical, or it could be scientific and rational, or it is constitutional, or legal, or social. But I should say, with all humility, sir, it was a blend of all of it. We, we could get a new interpretation as to what actually we mean by ethics. We always go by literary meaning or dictionary meaning of the words ethics and dharma, or what is it. But you are able to give a constitutional interpretation, a national interpretation to these values, Bharatiya ethics, values, and duties of citizens in our constitutional democracy. Friends, I'm a student of science, but I should thank Mysore University when I was a student of BSc in 1967. Uh, Today we talk of multi-faculty studies and so on, that everyone to study what. But in Mysore University during that time, since it was based on the British model, for science students there was a compulsory social science subject, and we had to pass it. And I should say, we were loving social science topics more than our science topics. For simple reason, they were giving new dimensions, particularly the sociology, the politics, anthropology, and various other aspects. And it was because of that we learned the value system in an indirect way, and particularly the way uh, the teachers taught us the importance of how exactly the Constitution of India has come into existence. I was always fascinated, even today I remember one particular statement of Rousseau, namely, man is free everywhere but always bound in chains. So you are free, but you are bound by what? The constitutional values, the constitutional framework. This particular concept of general will by Rousseau even today haunts me, at how in a very single statement he is able to give the entire essentiality of the constitutionalism. I was also fascinated when they were telling about the constitutional history of India, a few things. Number one, in the entire era of the human civilization and value systems, there were different subjects which were known as creative subjects. Till 1800, the creative subject that was given maximum value in the society was fine arts, visual arts, and sculpturism. That is the reason why Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci, even today, when you go to Europe, they were the ones who have become iconic to you. Particularly, I'm telling from the European point of view. Then came the, the oppression against the colonialism. That's where the importance of logic and law came into existence. Probably because of this particular impact of the European countries, particularly in the form of American War of Independence to start with, and French Revolution, which gave importance to the definitions of equality, fraternity, justice, and liberty that spread across various other British colonialisms. And that is where the budding youngsters of India wanted to become lawyers. So if you look into the educational qualification of maximum number of the founding fathers of Constitution as well as founding fathers of Indian independence, they are all born at law or students of law. Dr. Ambedkar, for that matter, he went abroad and ultimately studied and came back. Though he was fascinated to start with the economics, but later he became a political scientist and also a legal luminary. So what I'm trying to say is, law was one particular subject which ultimately fascinated the budding Indians during the independent era, independent movement, And they made us to understand what actually the liberty, equality, and fraternity. And then they thought, what should be our constitution? Probably because of this particular backing, when you got independence, the Constituent Assembly, in fact, I have heard Constituent Assembly debates number of times. Really, it's just like seeing a wonderful epic movie. At how exactly in each word the legal luminaries used to fight amongst themselves, not a physical fight, but a verbal fight, a legal fight to say whether this word should be there or not. Even to say whether India is a federal state or a union of states, etc., there was a lot of debate. And ultimately, they accepted Ambedkar. That's why we call Ambedkar as the father of Indian Constitution, the architect of Indian Constitution, one of the best written in the Constitution of the world, at the same time, one of the biggest. And Sir really said that though Indian Constitution is given in 1949, November 26th, and ultimately enacted on 26th of January 1950, the 77th year today. But what is important of the Indian Constitution is its ethos. One more important aspect which I learned today is that it is dynamic. It is progressive. It is not having the old adage as an appendage for it or a drag for it. It is dynamic and it's progressive. And the beauty of his entire lecture was how we can see the moral values, how we can interpret the moral values across the time as the society evolves. So what I learned today from his lecture is the evolution of society, the evolution of nationalism, the evolution of constitutionalism, without forgetting the basic tenets of the Constitution. So, friends, today I should say that BLDE Deputy University is lucky enough to have a legal luminary and orator in the form of Justice E.S. Indiresh sir for having given a wonderful lecture and a very useful and illuminating lecture for our student friends. May I request all of you to give a round of applause to him for his excellent. Sir, we look forward whenever you come to this area. See, we know that you come to Gulbarga often because you are a member of, a trustee of Shri Vignaneshwara of Marathur. So, whenever you come to Gulbarga, please make it a point to come to us and please enlighten our students and the legal luminaries on the new vistas of the legal interpretations and nationalism. With these few words, once again, sir, on behalf of BLD Deputy University, on behalf of BLD Association, on behalf of our president and mentor, Shri M.B. Patil ji, and our chancellor, Shri B.M. Patil ji, I profusely thank you, sir, for accepting our invitation for having to you. Thank you very much for your patient listening.
Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable words. Now I request Dr. Arun C. Inamdar, Vice Chancellor, BLD, Deemed University, for presidential remarks.
ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. Honorable Justice from High Court, Shri E.S. Indiresh ji, respected Dr. Y.M. Jairaj sir, and Principal of this law school, Dr. Raghuveer Kulkarni, and the luminaries of the Justice Department of my district who are in the front rows, and my dear students. Sir, it was a wonderful talk which added new dimensions of my thinking on Constitution, not as just a document. And also you have aroused my dream of becoming a law student when I was a child actually. Now at this age I can't become a law student, but I was your law student for at least 1 hour. Thank you very much, sir. What I learned, I will take just 5 minutes because there is some other engagements I believe after this. The thing in law is here both sides. As in medicine, we always have a first thing. The first principle of Hippocrates oath is do no harm. Even if you do not know anything, please don't do bad thing. So this And another thing which I learned was I used to, like when ministries are announced, there is a ministry for law and justice. So I came to know today what is the difference between law and justice. It was a wonderful talk on the Bharatiya ethics, values, duties for citizens in our constitutional democracy by you, sir. But a few words from me, Bharatiyate in all these things. Well, the preamble of our constitution says we the people of India, which has been already told by all of you, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign socialist, secular, democratic republic. I remember the words of Kuvempu, ನೂರು ಮತದ ಹೊಟ್ಟು ತೂರಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ತತ್ವದೆಲ್ಲೆ ಮೀರಿ ನಿರ್ದಿಗಂತವಾಗಿ ಏರಿ ಓ ಅನಂತವಾಗಿರು ಓ ನನ್ನ ಚೇತನ. So, this is the secular words which are spoken by the Kuvempu. Even in another Kuvempu's poem, Sarva Janangada Shantiya Tota. So these are all, I am not a law student, so I have to think in this way, how I am related to the Constitution. Similarly, then secure to all its citizens justice, social, economic, and political liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith, and worship. This cannot be equated. There is only one which was there in 12th century itself, Basavanna, who pleaded all these things: social, economic, political, and faith and worship. His very dignity of the individuals, which is spoken in words like Kayakave Kailasa, and the other social, economic, and political liberty, and not and respecting every human being. The Vachana, ivan arava enneduru, iva nammava ennu, endenisaya. So these are all things which I relate to the Bharatiyate in this constitution. And the Bhagavad Gita, the Indian constitution and Bhagavad Gita share profound philosophical links with Gita's principle of duty, that is dharma, which already we have narrated. And I agree with you, sir, very difficult to define dharma, but you have to practice dharma. And righteous action underpinning several constitutional ideals. The constitution reflects the Gita's version of universal equity, that is Article 15 oblique 17, and incorporates Indian heritage through its calligraphic illustrations. The Gita is viewed by some as a model, non-sectarian guide to the ethical governance. Not only that, I'll just like to quote one more vachana. ಕಳಬೇಡ ಕೊಲಬೇಡ ಹುಸಿಯ ನುಡಿಯಲು ಬೇಡ ಮುನಿಯ ಬೇಡ ಅನ್ಯರಿಗೆ ಅಸಹ್ಯ ಪಡಬೇಡ ತನ್ನ ಬಣ್ಣಿಸಬೇಡ ಇದುರು ಹಳಿಯಲು ಬೇಡ ಇದೇ ಅಂತರಂಗ ಸುದ್ದಿ ಇದೇ ಬಹಿರಂಗ ಸುದ್ದಿ ಇದೇ ನಮ್ಮ ಕೂಡಲ ಸಂಗಮನ ಒಲಿಸುವ ಪರಿ. I just read somewhere, I am not a law student. So Kalabeda, do not steal, prohibited by IPC section so and so. I don't want to quote because now IPC is now to BNS, something of that kind. Then Kolabeda, don't kill. So all these things, we have all these ethics with the Bharatiyate within us. So if you just follow those 7, all these things, ಕಳಬೇಡ ಕೊಲಬೇಡ ಹುಸಿಯ ನುಡಿಯಲು ಬೇಡ ಮುನಿಯ ಬೇಡ ಅನ್ಯರಿಗೆ ಅಸಹ್ಯ ಪಡೆಯಬೇಡ ತನ್ನ ಬಣ್ಣಿಸಬೇಡ ಇದರ ಹಳಿಯಲು ಬೇಡ, you can definitely live a life which is without any constitutional later all those whatever punishment you want to take. So if you just follow that, you can be the best person. So these are the Bharatiyate or the values which I have imbibed, and I thought, not as a law student, how I can see it as an ordinary student of my Indian student. So the core Bharatiya values and ethics, the key traditional Indian values shape ethical citizenship. Dharma emphasizes performing duty with sincerity. Then the Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam promotes universal brotherhood, ahimsa, non-violence, satya, truthfulness, that is what Sir told, Satyameva Jayate, which is there, and the seva, selfless service, respect for diversity, elders, gurus, and the practice of hospitality, that is Atiti Devo Bhava, are also central. So this is my view of Bharatiyate, though it is title is Bharatiya ethics, Bharatiyate, which we have already imbibed during our student days, during our day-to-day life activities. I feel uh, uh, we can protect all this constitutional democracy by just following what we have learned in our life. So these are my few words about presidential remarks, sir. But anyway, it was a great occasion for me to be your student. I wish to be student always, as you rightly told. For knowledge, there is no end. The day somebody says, I know everything, then that is a depth of knowledge. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable remarks. Now I request Dr. G.S. Karkol, sir, Assistant Professor, School of Applied Sciences and Technology, for vote of thanks.
Good morning, you all. On behalf of BLD deemed to be university, BLD Association, and Vijnaneshwara Trust Marthur Kalburgi, we are all thankful to Shri E.S. Indireshan Sir, Honorable Supreme High Court Judge of Karnataka. First, thank you, sir, for highlighting the insight of today's lecture topic on Bharatiya ethics, values, and duties for citizens in our constitutional democracy. And we are also thankful to Honorable Harisha, sir, Principal Judge, District and Session Judge Vijayapura for their presence. We are also thankful to our Pro-Chancellor, sir, for their valuable remarks. We are also thankful to our Vice Chancellor, sir, Inamdar, sir, for their presidential remarks. And also thankful to judicial officers and DLSA panel advocates for their great presence. Last but not least, all the faculties, dear my students, IT supports, School of Law College students, faculties, teaching and non-teaching faculties for their presence and successful of this special lecture program. Thank you.
पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल गंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उज्जल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगल गायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे